All right, let's start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem, B'cha Kudash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Cyber Prison. I'm joined with the Elder Kanak.
Shalom.
And pretty much, this is something we've been discussing, talking about as of late, dealing with this whole digital infrastructure that they have up. And, the Elder told me he was going to do a lesson that he was putting together. So we've been discussing this prison, this digital prison that they pretty much have already set up, around the world. It's just, it just hasn't been fully, the provisions haven't been fully implemented. But the prison itself is already built. Everything is there. All they have to do is just implement the right provisions, in order for them to get it up and running fully, and this is very important for prophecy's sake because, this is the main prophecy that we're waiting for to be fulfilled, which is the MOTB, which is the micro C-HIP, because once that prophecy is fulfilled, everything else is going to move a whole lot faster, because as we speak, we're in the midst of all these different prophecies popping off. The famines, food shortages, uproars of the people with these different protests, and in the midst of all of that, what do you have going on with these different countries? Digital IDs, digital identification. Now, out of the 193 to 198 countries that are out there or so, you have about 186 of them that are all, involved with some type of digital identification. We did a lesson on it yesterday, I think it was, the Elder Pashai and myself, where I asked Google, not Google, the chat, how many countries were there in the world and how many of them are using or about to use digital IDs. And they said 186 of them, which means that more than 95% of the world is going digital. And what do you think that leaves the last 5%? They are going to go digital if they want to operate in this new system. Oh, and also I wanted to say too that I had mentioned that the small hats or the little cap, mini caps, wanted Palestine to be a part of the UN so that they could control them. And I was wrong on that. The Elder Pastor corrected me on that, which, it's true. They don't want them because it does make sense. If they are a part of the UN, then the UN will have to protect them. So they really don't want them in there, So I just wanted to make that correction. You had anything, Elder?
Yeah, this is Psalms 64. I'm gonna start at the top.
Mm-hmm.
It says, "Hear my voice, O power, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy."
Right, and this is what they're doing. This is the fear that's out there. But see, most people don't know. See, we know because the Spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai through the Ruach HaKodesh, which is the Holy Spirit, has given us insight as to what's going on. So the world is not really in fear of this system and this trap that's being set, but we know that, that this is their plans, and Yahushua said it best. He said, unless those days be shortened, there shall no flesh be left to be saved. Mm-hmm. You got it.
Yep, it says, "Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity."
Right, because you have to remember this, what we're seeing rolling out has been, clandestine, secretive for a long time. Even going back to the 90s when the digital system really wasn't fully in place. You had Nick Rockefeller, which they say he doesn't exist now, telling Aaron Russo that the plan of the elite, so-called elite bankers of the world was to have everyone on the planet micro C-HIP. And now we fully understand why, which we understood back then, but it's becoming more and more clear as each day passes, because they understand that branding somebody, which is what would be if you insert a micro C-HIP or any foreign substance into someone, it's a branding, and they know that type of branding creates a servant for life. Go ahead.
Yep, it says, It says, who wet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words.
Right, and this is why the system that's being put in place is being pushed by what? By words, which is what? Their legislation. And the legislation is what's putting the teeth into this new system. You know, that's why, you know, you have in China, which is the model for the global digital world, you know, they have, you know, examples right now of people in homeless encampments that are not able to function in that, you know, in that system because their credit scores are not as good. You want to say something?
Yeah, they were shut out of society. Like it tells you in Revelation 13, how that all that did not worship the beast, you know, should be killed.
Yep.
You know, and the system that China has, that system was created by the so-called white man. That's his technology. The British is the ones that built up the British, you know, UK, the elites, America. They're the ones that built up America. I'm sorry, that built up China, because they allowed China to be the manufacturing hub of the world. You know, and they exported all these different places that where you build things. They exported to China and built China up. But as they built China economy up, they built China's digital economy as well, or digital infrastructure, to be you know, pretty much the blueprint of how it's going to go down. And we're actually seeing people that cannot participate in society. Right. And that's what's coming to America, but it's being done in secret. Yeah. It's being done in secret, and the people are not aware. Right. They're not aware of it, and that's just reminiscent of this devil that we're dealing with. Yeah, that's why it says a secret counsel of the wicked. You know, because it is a secret counsel that they're doing it. They're not letting the people know. Well, yeah, okay. Because that cuts off over there. Okay. I don't think there's any sidewalk. And they're doing it secretive. You know, they're not really giving the people the straight up of what's going on. That's why it's seeming like different nations are doing different things, you know, and not in, you know, in the same mind frame as America or as England or whatever, but they're all going digital. Well, Iran is definitely not doing what America's doing when they're all doing it. Yeah. They're all secretly doing it, but it looks to the outside. If you are not aware, if you don't have the spiritual eyes and ears to see, it looks like it doesn't make it looks like it's just all over the place. It doesn't make sense. So they're against each other. Right. But meanwhile, if you really look into it, these headlines that they don't push out in the mainstream media, Iran has a crypto, a digital currency. They have digital infrastructure being set up. Russia have digital infrastructure being set up. China has a digital infrastructure being set up. And meanwhile, the digital siege was being laid around you here in America. That digital infrastructure. And one way they're going to force people into the system is by the food system, by cutting a lot of Americans off of those government handouts. So now when they bring it back, all right, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this. But that's a high level trap. Those restrictions. And that trap was laid decades ago. It wasn't like it was just a new thing to where you can actually identify what he was trying to do. Right. He gave you these handouts for several generations. Right. And he made it to seem like this was never going to get cut off. Made you dependent upon it. And now he's ready to let the door close on that digital cage, man. There you go. You know, and that's why they wanted to make people dependent. And because way back the days, you know, you had people that had to hunt, you know, had to fetch water, had to, you know, go out foraging for mushrooms and different things, you know, to be able to eat. Otherwise they wouldn't eat. You didn't have supermarkets and bodegas and things like that to go to, you know. It was very rare. The only places that had things like that were metropolises, which were mother cities, you know, where you would go to the agora, to the marketplace to, you know, pick up, you know, stuff like that, spices and all that. But for the most part, people had to hunt and forage and search for water in order to survive. But those skills have diminished greatly, you know, here, especially here in America. They're really non-existent. Yep. Well, even the skill of going out and foraging for medicinal plants. Yeah. You know, they don't even, you know, different ailments and stuff like that ail the people. They don't even know that knowledge anymore. Yeah. So it's like the people they're completely done.
Yep.
So only then, as you have to beat down the nations and strip everything from them, only then now can you close the door on the trap, because there's nowhere to go. They don't have any other health care. Right. They don't have any other way to get food. They don't have any other way to take care of themselves. Yep. They're completely dependent on your system.
Yeah.
And this is the only way that it's going to work. And he's ready to close that trap. That's because the infrastructure is already laid.
Yep.
Okay.
It reminds me of the pigs of the Oiki Finoiki. You know, which George Gordon brought that out. But I guess it's an actual story.
Yeah, it's a story. Yep.
You know that's been told of how, you know, you had wild pigs in the wild, that if a person will go out there, they'll gore them and kill them, eat them, you know. So this one individual went out there with the mindset to feed these pigs and to build pretty much a big cage to where he would be able to entrap them all. And everybody thought he was crazy and that he would never make it back. But then he kept coming back, getting more food, getting more supplies, building this cage. And at first the pigs were very suspicious of him. Then after a while, the older pigs that didn't have this really the energy to go hunting, they would actually go and go to eat. And eventually after a while, more and more started eating, and he kept building a cage around them. They wouldn't mess with him. So he got to the point where he left 2 openings, one to go in, one to come out. Eventually he closed that, and at the final stage, when he finally put the food in there and they all went in, he closed the last gate and they were caught up in there. So that's akin to this digital prison that this devil is building. You know, like everything right now, the cage is built, you know, but the gates haven't been closed yet. You know, so now we're at the point now where he's stepping into the last and final stage of closing that gate, and that's why they're taking away these things that most people of low income families are dependent upon, like SNAP, EBT, and all that. Because that once they close that and they reset the system, so to speak, now you have different provisions that you have to use in order to be able to function in this new system.
Yeah, and not only, I mean, he's starting with the lowest hanging fruit. Yep. You always start with the most vulnerable. If you're a predator, you don't go after the strongest.
Right.
So he's starting with the individual in low economic state. But this is going to encompass everybody.
Yep.
The scriptures say how he calls us both small and great.
Yep.
Rich and poor.
Yep.
Free and bond. Okay, so he's coming for the rich too.
Yeah.
He's going to cut everybody out of the system.
Oh, yeah.
All right, you jakes that enjoy these, because a lot of jakes are not on these subsidies. A lot of jakes, they got pretty good paying jobs, you know, and they're okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's just across the street. Yeah. Go ahead.
They got pretty good jobs. They sitting comfortable, like a lot of jakes that are in the federal government. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they try to Salaki, it's just Satan.
Yeah, you know, it's just another day at the office.
For example, this government shutdown. This government shutdown. You wanna?
Yep, come across.
This happen, we out here.
No, it's just a part of the ambiance. Yeah. It's a part of the ambiance, baby.
Yep.
You want to go this way?
Yeah, and then we can kind of probably just find our way that way, because I can't even.
It's all right. It's just a part of the ambiance, you know. Hey, well, they're gonna be caught up in that digital prison, you know. all that shit gonna stop.
And she was basically mad because he was messing with other women.
Right.
And as
that bald head bitch.
Yeah, and as the society breaks down, these women have no access to these government handouts, which are like their men.
Yeah.
It was pretty much a transfer.
Yep.
It was emancipation.
Yep.
Pretty much the so-called white man, he emancipated you women from your husbands and your fathers
to him. Yep.
And he got you hooked on the things that he's giving you, and now he's taking them away.
Right.
But he's gonna give them back to you, but it's gonna be with a condition, and that's gonna be ultimately the MOTB.
Strict conditions.
And he's gonna get everybody like this.
Yeah.
Even the rich, okay, they are dependent on his system as well. They bought into it.
Well, see, brother, edification came out
edification,
of it. Out of chaos came out edification. Maybe he saw it right. Order out of chaos.
Hey, that's how the Lord gets down.
Yeah.
Order out of chaos.
Mm-hmm.
That's just carbon. Esau try to, just copy the Most High. That's all he's doing.
Con.
He's just a cheap Chinese copy of the Most High.
Yep.
Okay. But these women, they're not gonna be coming at you men like that.
Nah.
Okay. Because they're gonna submit.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And you're gonna have multiple women.
Yeah.
Isaiah 4:1. They're not gonna be cursing you out because you're dealing with another woman. Okay.
Nah. Now they're just gonna be happy that they're protected or eaten or whatever the case may be.
That's it. Your little $40 is gonna go far. They're gonna appreciate that little $20 that you give them for lunch.
Yep.
The little top ramen. They're gonna appreciate it in that time because this damn devil about to cut all you jakes off the system.
Yep.
And even I was saying he's gonna cut, and he's already doing these jakes that are these federal workers, especially like the black woman.
Yeah.
That's doing real good.
Real good.
That doesn't depend on the food stamps, and the handouts. They have these nice cushy government jobs,
making 100K plus.
100K plus. I don't need a nigga. Highly educated women, right?
Come.
You want to go straight? You want to go right?
Let's go this way.
Okay. Highly educated. Well, you see what the government shut, and they're not getting paid.
Yeah.
What if this thing is extended? The longest government shutdown was 35 days.
Right.
This can surpass that.
Yeah.
Okay.
What if they just allowed to go to 2026? A couple of months. That would really put these people in such a desperate state that they're willing to do anything. But the scriptures say in Isaiah 65, if you could get that, Isaiah 65 and about 11,
God.
that the Lord's servants are gonna be protected. If we be the elect, we're not gonna be eating no goddamn ramen noodle. We're not gonna be eating the bare survival and fucking canned goods. Scriptures say that my servants shall eat. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that the elect, the ones that the Lord is going to protect, they're going to eat good. This is what I was telling Pashai. See how the walls.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you're talking about, the retainer wall.
Okay, retainer wall. Okay, I got a preset for you.
Yeah, bring it out.
Yeah, this is King James. This King James version, Psalm 37:25.
Beautiful.
I have been young, and now am old. Yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread.
That's it. Now jump to the 19th verse.
God.
And that's the case. Like the ones that serve the Lord, they usually get it the worst because you're tapping into, trying to live a more righteous lifestyle than the world. And the world being wicked, they're going to be blessed. But the ones that try to live a better life are usually get the short end of the stick. But when calamity and troubles come, those that are catching hell for doing the right thing will usually be protected in those times.
Yeah, because the Lord, right now the system is backwards. The wicked are being ruled.
Yep.
So the righteous are going to move. Righteousness and wickedness cannot dwell together in unity. So as the judgment comes, that is basically the Most High correcting everything and bringing back things to its perfect state.
Yep.
And in a righteous world, the righteous man, he wins.
Yep.
In a wicked world, the righteous man, he loses.
Yep.
So now the judgment is going to happen, which is going to take out the wicked, and who's going to be there in his stead?
The righteous.
It's the righteous.
Yep.
Okay.
What scriptures say in Proverbs that the wicked is a ransom for the righteous. So a ransom is what? An exchange. So the when calamities come, because King Solomon said it best. I've seen righteous men that it happens to as if they were wicked, and wicked men that it happens to as if they were righteous. But when the rubber meets the pavement and it really means something, especially in these calamitous times that are coming, these perilous times, it's going to be a role reversal, because the righteous deeds are going to be a force, and the wicked deeds are going to have no force in these times.
Yep. Verse 19 says they shall. Can I read?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Use your discernment.
Kind. Yeah, verse 16, it says, a little that a righteous man has is better than the riches of many wicked.
Right, because it's honest, and the honest living is going to get you further than, in this society, it doesn't seem that way, but in the long run, it's going to get you better riches than stealing, conniving, and doing all type of underhanded deeds to get your goods. Yeah.
Here, I'll tell you that story about that Elamite who basically told me I wouldn't make it if he gave me his business, because he wanted to give me his business, and I wouldn't make it because I wasn't because he told me once, like, look, man, we're not stealing, man. Look, we're not stealing. We're not hurting anybody. You know, because he was doing underhanded shit.
Right.
And I wouldn't participate in it.
Right.
And he basically told me I wouldn't make it a business. You know what I mean? Because I'm just like, hey, I just want my job. You know, I just want to just work, go home. You know,
get paid for what I work for.
What I did. Yeah. I ain't trying to steal. I ain't trying to like, you know, do no underhanded shit. And he told me to my face. He said I wouldn't make it. So in this society, if you actually try to do the right thing, you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it big. So called. Okay.
Yeah. You know what? Scriptures say that sin sticketh close between buying and selling. You know, because it's going to be underhanded dealings when you're dealing with business. You know, either the person that's selling is going to get over on you, or the person that's buying is going to try to get over on you.
Yep.
You know, and it's that's the dynamic that you have between buying and selling.
It says the arms of the wicked shall be broken, but the Lord upholdeth the righteous.
Yeah, so the Lord upholdeth the righteous, but the arms of the wicked, even though they seem like they're being held up, is going to be broken. Go ahead.
It says, they shall not, the Lord knoweth the days of the upright, and their inheritance shall be forever. Mm-hmm. They shall not be ashamed in the evil time.
They shall not be ashamed in the evil time, because that's what's coming. You know, but the wicked are going to be ashamed in the evil time. And that's the difference. Go ahead.
Yep. It says, they shall not be ashamed in the evil time, and in the days of famine they shall be satisfied.
Right, in the days of famine they shall be satisfied. Now, is that Job 5:19, at famine and destruction? Yeah, we could get that. We could cross right here. You know, because that's what's coming. That's why it says when we get to Isaiah 65 that my servant shall eat. So while this digital prison is being, the cyber prison is being laid out, you know, and it's going to ensnare the world. You know, the ones that are part of the elect of the nation of Israel are not going to be caught in that trap. I mean, they're going to be in the midst of it, but the Lord is going to cause that. Remember how it says, as a matter of fact, if you could get Psalms 124 real quick before we read that. Psalms 124:7, I think it is. You know, because the cage is going to be sprung. The door, the trap door is going to be shut. But the ones that are part of the elect are going to be delivered from that cage. You know, and that's the dynamic. You know, this is why Yahushua said, lay up for yourselves riches in heaven, where neither rust nor moth does corrupt. And most people are not willing to do that because they live it for the here and now. You got it.
Mm-hmm. Psalms 124:7. It says, I'm gonna read 6.
Yeah.
It says, blessed be the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Shai, who has not given us as a prey to their teeth.
Right, and because the world is the prey. The so-called 1%, which are the so-called elite, they are the predators. Mm-hmm. And the world is the prey. But the elect of the nation of Israel are not going to be given to their teeth. They're not going to be given to be forsaken as these other individuals, these other jakes, these 2/3 jakes they're going to be pretty much New World Order fodder.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they're not because the teeth is this digital system.
Yep.
Like the teeth, the alligator or the young lion.
Yep.
Before, how does he take his prey?
Yep.
He opens his mouth.
Right?
And before he gets you, he opens his mouth and then he shuts it. That's that's what's getting ready to happen.
Yeah.
The teeth are getting ready to be shut on you through digital means.
That grit.
You know, they're gonna bite you, they're gonna devour you.
They're gonna maul you to death.
You know, maul you to death.
Yep.
You know, he who ruleth the nations in anger.
Yep.
All right. Who has, basically continuous stroke.
Yep.
He hasn't let off of you. He's gonna do that to the rich and the poor, and we're actually seeing that manifest. This is why he's bringing in his police state. He's bringing in his troops. So when things get out of hand, they can already be there.
Right.
Okay. And they're not armed right now. But it takes one event.
Yep.
It takes one event for them to be armed. Okay.
That's it. You good, bro?
Yeah. It says our soul is.
And that's what they're doing. What they're doing now, with these shutdowns, government shutdowns, and the threatening people not to get their EBT and their SNAP, because that's getting the minds roused up to where they're saying, well, if I don't get mine, I'm just gonna go up in there. I'm just gonna take what I'm gonna take. Now, I don't know how true it is, but they said as of November 1st, Walmart, they're going to close their doors and you're going to have to shop online and come to Walmart to get your goods, you know? So if they do that, that's going to cause a lot of havoc, a lot of panic. It's going to overwork the employees because they're going to have to get everything that the individual is able to get now. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this is going to play out.
And if they do that, and when they open shit up, you're going to have the digital motherfucking ID.
There you go. Bang.
Get in there, man. All right, so all you fucking scoffers.
Fake.
Look, fake, yeah. All you fucking scoffers about, you know.
This ain't going to make it. This is some fake shit we saw on the ground.
All you scoffers about to get, you know. What you going to do now?
Yep.
You said you have the black ones out. I'm going to go into that store and I'm going to steal shit.
Right.
What if they shut the fucking door and got motherfucking National Guard out there? Your ass got to get online to get food. What you going to do now?
Yep.
All right, so when they open that shit, and you can see how Jake gonna take the MOTB. See, hey, the Lord created Esau to be, he was more subtle than any beast of the field, man.
Yep.
Okay, this whole elaborate scheme was thought up in advance.
There you go.
And was gone over and over and over again.
We gotta go back to Psalm 64.
Okay, con.
Now go ahead, finish.
Yeah, over and over and over again. All right, to perfect it.
Yeah.
Okay, he's the fowler, man. He's a wise hunter.
Yep.
The Lord made him like that.
Yep.
He made him with them serpent-like
tactics, ways,
abilities, man.
abilities. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
no, go ahead, finish. No, finish.
And we're as sheep. We need an actual shepherd.
Yep.
Okay, to protect us. We are literally defenseless, man.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. So maybe we can finish up
okay.
there and then go back to Psalm 64.
Yep.
Yeah. There's so many precepts, you could go to.
Psalms 124:7. Our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers.
So in other words, that the world is going to be caught in this prison, but the Lord is going to make a way to break out the elect from this prison that they're building, this digital prison that they're building worldwide. And that's the difference. That's the difference between, Jakes in the world and the Israelites that are potential part of the elect, that are in the truth, that are, spending their talents, and men spending their talents. The very few women that do really believe doing what they do, to store up treasures in heaven, because those treasures in heaven are going to play a very important part in these times when all hell starts to break loose, and that's going to be a defense, and then trusting in the names of Yahweh Bashem Shai, that's going to be the ultimate defense that's going to, get you through in these times. Because it's going to be very trying time. Remember, it's going to be a time of temptation. And then I believe it's the NOT, it says a great time of testing.
That's it.
And that test is not going to be an easy test to pass. And you have to remember that the average mindset in America, is pleasure. Pleasure, laid back, resting, nonchalant, careless attitudes. So they're not built like back in the days. Back in the 60s and the 50s, and other times, Jake was catching hell. They were forced to assimilate. They were forced to, bite down and figure out ways to survive. Now, today, Jake got so comfortable that they don't have any type of survival skills. They don't have any, patience anymore. All of that patience is out the door.
And they forgot that they have an enemy.
Yep.
The most important thing coming out of prey is to have your prey
from the prey that were going up.
That's it. Your prey to not think that their life is in danger. That's when the predator leaps, when you least expect it.
Yep.
And this is like Jake walking around like the valley of the dry bone. Jake is not. Their mind is not geared towards a trouble that's coming.
No.
You even have certain Israelites that woke up to the fact that they're Israelites that are saying, "I already went through my trouble.
Right.
There is no more, Jacob. Trouble is not coming. Look, everything's good. I can go to college. I can go to school. I can get a job. I can play football. I can make it. I can be a rapper. I can do all these things. I can go out.
Right.
I can get with women. I can drink anytime I want.
Yeah.
I can hustle. Okay.
Yeah.
They're not even. Their mind is not even geared towards the trouble coming.
Nah.
And another thing I was thinking was Trump is also coming at the gangs.
Yeah.
And underground crime.
Yep.
And how much the so-called black market, how much that fuels the economy as well. These
Yep.
drugs
Yep.
and the sex trafficking, you know, the so-called trafficking and the
Illegal
different
gun sales.
the illegal gun sales. He's
Yep.
coming after everything.
Oh, yeah.
So even these hood jakes, the cartels and all that, they're gonna be cut out of the system and being forced to get into the system as well.
There you go.
He's coming for everybody, man.
He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand on their forehead.
And this is why they changed it from the Department of Defense to the Department of War, because now they're bringing 333. Now they're bringing in their NWO.
That was DJ Skeletor. I don't know if you saw him.
Oh, where? That was actually him?
No, that was you know.
Oh, okay, yeah. The skeleton with the DJ.
Yeah, the equipment. Jake is gone.
It says our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare, or like you saw that dream, that bird.
Right, crazy.
That crazy ass, you know, it was
emaciated,
man.
And it was docile when it was emaciated, but then when it got like fully, you know, all the feathers started growing out of it, and it was like real, you know, like girthy, more girthy. It was very proud. You know, I don't know what it means, but you know, hey, there's about to be some hard times coming out here. You know, and all of that pride that these women have is going to be knocked down.
Well, that's how they were. It was like the bird. They were in a prideful. You can see the contrast.
Right.
You can see the contrast of individuals that were proud. They were nice and full belly and all that, and hurting. And then you can see them in that. You see how they become meek and humble. Yep. You know what I mean? When your ass ain't eating like you're supposed to be eating.
That's it.
And you can't get the goodies like you can't. Yep. You haven't been getting. And them motherfucking parasites is having they going crazy in you.
Your body's eating your ass up.
You're gonna be in a different mindset in that day. And that's what's coming. See, you Jakes thought that it wasn't gonna come. You thought that the Most High, he threatened and he wouldn't do nothing.
You know that. No, go ahead, finish.
Like the prophets were just out here just saying shit just to say it.
Right.
You know, and you're not taking it serious. Well, the Lord's gonna show you. And you can read many accounts of the scriptures where the Lord sent the prophets out and they killed the prophets.
Right.
And they put the prophets in prison and they scoffed at the prophets. They say, I don't want to hear none of that. And what happened? The Lord came in. He brought them nations to come in and take your ass out. Okay.
Yeah, it reminds me of this movie that Elder Apostle Gabar had ran across. He showed us. It was an Italian movie. It was all like there was an Italian that had English subtitles, and it was about, you know, this Sicilian dude, you know, that was like, you know, pretty much he was like a servant pretty much to the upper class, you know, Italian, right? And there was this woman that was a part of it, and she was proud, but then they got stuck on a deserted island, and she was trying to act that, you know, that pride, you know, she was being all prideful and, you know, acting, and then, you know, he just said, all right, fuck you, bitch, and he just left her. He was, you know, he was able to build a shelter. He was catching food, you know, he was eating, and she was starving to the point where she had to come and literally bow down at his door and you know, be humble, you know, in order to be able to eat. You know, so you know, that just goes to show you that when these women get in that desperate state where they're not given everything, you know, they have to depend on the man. They become humble. They learn how to get back in that, you know, humiliated, humble state. You know, and that's what it's going to bring. It's going to take calamities to bring these women back to their right mindset.
Yeah, because the Lord right now, he's putting the men that come into this thing, he's putting us in a very humble situation.
Yep.
You know, to where we are humbling down before him before it really gets bad.
Oh yeah.
To where when it gets bad, the Lord, you know, he can sustain us.
Yep.
And really, as the scriptures say, they shall get praise and fame in all the lands that they were put to shame.
There you go.
Okay, so these people, you're gonna learn to be humble.
Yep.
Okay. Pride go up before destruction.
Yep.